junglers. Xin Zhao being left open looks like what Shun will lean towards. The Caitlyn still being there for the side of IG if they do so decide to pick it. We don't have too much information on Xiaoyueji and, you know, what he's comfortable bringing out on an LPL stage, because this is completely different from what he does in the LPL, but I still think an S-tier pick, that would definitely make sense.
Yeah, it's still... It was, you know, the 100% ban pick presence the other day, and we'll see if it actually drops in that today, but the Gwen is the second pick for IG, trying to get a little bit of safety in the top side for neny.
And it makes me wonder if OMG will want to respond with the top side counter early on, because I don't think there's too many things that really demolish Gwen. We've seen a lot of the Jacks coming out in recent days. It opens up side lanes for you. You have the Corki as well, who can kind of lean into that aspect. The only other thing that we've seen a little bit against it is a Jace coming out, which your range, you're going to do fine early on. But no, we get Able Samira coming out. This is locked and loaded OMG. They just love running into you. They were so good at these very low range, all-in skirmish compositions last split in 2021.
Gonna be so excited.
Oh yes,
here.
please,
Also,
Mazel, please.
Yeah. Also, the thing is for me is, like, we've talked a round of circles around everybody except putting a big spotlight on Able, and I do feel like as one of the on paper weaker members of the team, this is a perfect moment on the Samira to pop up and be like, hush, you naysayers. You have nothing to say here, because we have the Rell and Samira combo to dominate the bot lane.
Like, Mazel, I know you are trying to hype our man Able up, but I'm
Dude,
sorry.
Come on,
Cold
Samira,
is on
you have
Rell.
to be hypey.
No, Mazel. Cold is on Rell. Cold on Rell looked so cracked last year. He found so many massive Magnet Storms coming in, 4 or 5 man, setting up the team fight victories for the side of OMG. Moving over back to IG, though, we get the Rakan coming out in response. Very hard for Rell to be able to lock you down with the amount of mobility you have. You can try and bait out some of her spells early on, disengage, look for a re-engage later on with that W. And honestly, pretty surprising drafts that have come out so far in terms of pick order. For IG, they're not too concerned about the top lane counter pick coming out. They aren't banning any. Seems like they're rather focusing on, like, hey, we have Xin Zhao. There's a few other high priority junglers left open. We're gonna take away the Jarvan ourselves, which also sets up for more immobile carries coming out on the side of IG. Now I wonder if they'll look to take away the Lee Sin as well.
The Rumble actually making its way onto the ban table here for IG. We've seen little sprinklings of it across the world. Not gonna be so tonight, as it was actually the Xayah banned by OMG, so whittling down that ADC pool, and the Vex to finalize everything there for themselves.
Yeah, the Rumble's no surprise. Shanji sitting 2-0 on that pick right now. I mean, OMG are undefeated, so they are going to be undefeated, you know, 2-0 no matter what. Now it looks like IG going back and forth between 80 carries. I don't know if I really expect the Vayne to come out. Something like the Kai'Sa would make a bit more sense. Looks like IG are going to fight fire with fire in terms of just challenging it all in, but no! Xiaoyueji actually does decide to bring out the Vayne.
Let's go! We're getting the gauntlet thrown down for game number 1 here. The Rakan and Vayne combo in the bot lane. Not something we've necessarily seen at all, but very, very exciting to do so this time around. It's putting a lot of weight on Xiaoyueji and Lucas's shoulders here into this game. Talon is the confidence pick for Aki.
Yeah, and I just want to highlight one more thing about Xiaoyueji real quick as well, is that even in LDL, he has not pulled out Vayne in a competitive setting yet, so this will be his first time bringing out the champion. I like that you highlight the Talon, though, so OMG just all-inning more on this very heavy all-in style. A lot of early burst coming out throughout their squad. Looks like they're going to go with the Gragas in the top side. Look for a little bit of neutralization in that top lane. Gragas, pretty safe 1v1 against 90% of top lane champs. You get to level 6, you are incredibly hard to dive, as we did see. I believe it is the clip from Wonder right now on the top of Reddit. Fnatic completely outplaying. I think it was a dive from Vitality, so we're going to see if Shanji can muscle some of that up himself. and Yuekai now moving back to the Viktor. So a bit of range coming out for the side of IG. It is pretty interesting because I think Viktor does very well shutting down champions like Samira and Talon that want to jump in. You try jumping on top of the Viktor, bam, instantly W, and ultimate do go down, and it dissuades those engages.
I mean, I'm looking at the compositions holistically here. I definitely am leaning over to IG's side in terms of the team fight potential, the objective control potential, if they can move into the pits and find effectiveness in that way. But if the snowball gets rolling, I mean, there's going to be like a bus in that snowball or something for the side of OMG. They have that all-in composition, and once they get going, they will not stop.
I think that's going to be the main distinction, right? For the side of OMG, if they can land a lot of these multi-man AoE abilities, right? You're going in with Rell, you're hitting that Magnet Storm on multiple people, it sets up for a big package, it gives Abel the ability to get in there, those team fights work. For IG, I think you like things a little bit more scrappy, a little bit more spread out. You have things like the Xin Zhao and the Gwen, which can buy a lot of space for Viktor and Vayne to be able to free hit on a not very tanky front line for the side of OMG. Gragas, I'd say one of the less tanky tanks coming into the game, for the fact that you don't have any like abilities that enhance your MR armor, is just the damage reduction coming in from your W.
That front line is gonna be paper thin, but gotta find a way to make the paper stand, especially with the amount of damage coming out as the game goes on. For IG, it's gonna be a bit scarier, but as we said, you know, the Talon gets ahead. You find any advantage for any one of these members, and specifically for the bot lane. If you can find a snowball in the Samira, things get a little bit scarier going against the Vayne, a shorter range carry who can't get to that late game scaling potential just yet. But here we are, Lyric. It is the first game of the night, the last day of the first week. The LPL 2022 Spring Split. OMG taking on IG.
We're gonna jump right in, and nothing really too surprising. All about rune choice here, Mazel. Aki going with the first strike. It is something we've been seeing most assassin junglers in solo queue go towards. We did see it yesterday coming out from, I believe off the top of my head, it was Lien, if I'm not wrong, going with the first strike. Kiana are going to be able to get a lot of value out of that burst from the 10% true damage later on, and obviously a ton of gold from that. Not going to get too much value out of it in the early game, but I think for Aki that is completely fine.
And I love it because you see that like kind of all-in composition we've already laid out for OMG, but they're also emphasizing on the snowball themselves by getting those first strikes and try to get that advantage early. I love it. And we will have same side starts for both junglers, so potentially pathing up towards this top side of the map.
It's really interesting because I feel like for both teams, you're not really looking to invest too much into top lane. I think an early gank is something you can look to put down. They're set up on both sides, right? For the side of OMG, Shanji's bringing all the CC of the burst from Talon. On IG side, I think the 2v2 is a little bit stronger from the fact that you do have two champions that are both contributing damage. The only bad thing is you don't have any lockdown. And you already hit the nail on the head, Mazel. We have Samira down in the bot lane. Typically, when you have Samira on the Rift, it is all about enabling that Samira.
Yeah, and that's why I like the fact that you get this really close range ADC matchup, because it means blood's going to be pumping and the chaos is going to be flying. We'll see if that actually bears truth at all, as we do see Yuekai going for a little bit of vision there. We'll spot out the red buff start for Aki.
Yeah, nice information for the side of IG. Ping's already came out saying, hey, he's on his Raptor camp. So now Shun can path accordingly. Looks like some pings coming out in the enemy jungle. I wonder if Shun will want to look for it from the fact that neny is pushing up in top side. Looks like Yuekai will get control of the wave after this right now in mid.
Yeah, he
OMG spotting it out though.
No, he's not. He's not. He doesn't get spotted on the edge of the ward. That's huge. And this would be an absolute backbreaker for Aki on this Talon. The blue buff goes to Shun. The flashes are going aplenty. No, it actually went to Aki. He was able to secure the buff and got out, did burn his flash.
Yeah, so sad for Shun. So close to being able to find that one.
Ooh,
looks like he's just going to default back to the scuttle. And I mean, Mazel, we've been seeing this like every day of what Victors are able to do in the first few levels. Level 1, you out-trade Corki pretty well with your Q. You get a few levels under your belt, right? You're just consistently poking him down with Laser. The Corrupting Pot as well. You do just win the War of Attrition with autos. And nice to see Yuekai coming in strong. That's why we highlighted him in our opening segment. A player who, again, not a lot of fanfare around. I don't think was necessarily ever a standout in his time in the LPL. Only got to play one series with RNG in Summer Split, so we haven't seen all too much from him.
All right, here we go. Aki is getting onto the rift here. Does have the wall jump to get into there, but bot lane's got the engage first. Xiaoyueji, he's almost dead. One more auto from Abel, can't do it because it is going to be Lucas in the way. And close, but not finding anything in the bot lane 2v2.
Yeah, overall, it's going to be a win for OMG, even though they did blow more summoners, because Xiaoyueji is going to be missing this incoming wave that's coming in. Lucas can't just hold it, already being pushed into tower. So for the side of OMG, they are at least getting a bit off this. We even see the CS advantage down there right now. Pretty massive for the side of OMG, but Shun going to look for a gank topside.
Pull it off. Shanji realizing something is up here. Has the angle, the body book as well is there to stop Shun if he can. Aki on the backside of it. Shun needs to get away from here. A lot of damage from the minions and the body slam from Shanji. And Aki wants it. He smells blood in the water here. Will not hit it though. Aki able to respond to Shun, but still no blood on the rift leader.
Overall, really nice E by Shun to dodge out on the last hit coming out from the Talon W. We also did see in the replay on the bottom of our screen that neny did blow flash while the bot lane skirmish was going on. Looks like Aki did dedicate to the top side, and OMG still trying to set up for a play. Obviously, neny, no flash, no ghost.
Some problems here. The damage is not enough just yet, and the tower shots are starting to come out. neny gets away by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, the W going to do so much for neny in that situation. Let's see if he does end up getting zoned off the wave. Looks like he will. Shanji going to recall right in his face saying, hey, you cannot have these minions. neny trying to stay close, at least be in XP range and pick these up once the recall does finish. And IG already starting to transition their pressure to that bottom half of the map with the fact that Shun did recall first. Lucas here enabling him, and things looking pretty decent for both sides so far.
Get a little bit worried for this next skirmish because Shun overextending here does have Lucas on his backside, but Lucas dips, and that's the first blood to Cold of all people for OMG.
Really nice read by OMG. It doesn't look like IG's members walked over any wards. Obviously, we did see Shun push through mid lane, so OMG just realizing, hey, we don't see Rakan down in bot. We saw his Xin Zhao just panic mid. They're probably looking for an invade in our jungle, either stealing raptors or putting the wards down. OMG rotate their bot lane over because their wave was on the opposite side of the lane, and they are able to get that nice pick off. Some pretty good assist gold, kill gold going all around.
It's just a slow and steady burn at this point for this first game of this best of 3, and I can appreciate it, right? But it's also leaning more into IG's favor, I feel like, because we talked about it in the draft and the fact that, you know, they are having a lot of scaling factors on their team. Their team fight around the objectives is going to be pretty stout, and you're looking for OMG. Yes, they have some scaling, but you're looking for that early snowball. You're looking to get the ball rolling, if you will. And they haven't necessarily been able to do that. It's a lot of passive gold gain right now and that first blood, so they're off to a good start. But I'd say IG is still pretty comfortable.
Especially with the fact that IG are also picking up a dragon right now. Aki on the opposite side of the map looks like he's trying to pick up the Rift Scuttler. And I like that you bring up the Corki point, right? Because I'd say even though IG late game definitely looked better holistically than OMG, I feel like Corki right now is just one of those champions that can single-handedly warp a game or impact a game in a way that if you go even into late game, right, he finds one big package, he's consistently hitting those rockets that can completely change the dynamic of the team fight. Still going to favor IG there, though. We're going to be looking at Rift Herald spawning in about 30 seconds.
I do want to ask you, though, in your preference of the AP/AD build for Corki. We are seeing the AD build here for stream today.
I personally do prefer the AD build coming out. I feel like you can just get a lot more consistent damage. Yeah, a lot more consistent damage going off.
Oh, talking about consistent damage. Oh, there's a Blade Whirl, though. Xiaoyueji is able to get a decent amount of damage back. Nothing too crazy. Again, going for the invades. This time, realizing it's not the time, it's not the place.
Also, just look at his lanes, right? Having pressure in mid, they just had Pie on bot from the skirmish that Lucas forced out. So I think IG timing that really well of being like, hey, bot lane, can you generate some pressure? I'm going to walk into the enemy jungle at the same time to try and contest this red buff. Like we said, though, Aki was already level 6. I think that would have been quite dire for Shu to look for it. He is 6 now, though, so any skirmishes that do come out can now be contested. OMG can have a little bit of tempo in terms of going towards that Rift Herald. Their bot lane is on the map first, and it looks like IG might even just contend for trading. They already got the dragon. Send your bot lane back down to lane, get some more gold onto Xiaoyueji. And yeah, for Shun to start passing down towards that bot lane, look for more vision, look for more of those invades like you've been trying to find.
And now it's about the utilization of this Rift Herald. Where is Aki? Give that gold over. You got a couple willing participants, I feel like, in this game.
Yeah, I'd say the one place I wouldn't, right off the
Oh
bat
no,
would mark out
Creme.
his top lane.
He's got package, so he's able to get out at least the first little bit. I thought Lucas might follow up there, but does not.
Nope, not able to do it. I mean, Creme even still having flash as well would be completely fine.
And another
Gank.
Valkyrie.
Also, Aki still playing around his top side right now. Is going to just look to pick up another Scuttle Crab. Looks like he was thinking about a gank top, but neny playing very respectfully. For the side of OMG, personally, I think it'd be really good to get gold on your Samira. I feel like when you pick such a heavily specialized champion like this that really does need to get ahead to not be useless, getting the play gold onto her makes the most sense. LPL teams typically do prefer the whole, 4-man rotation towards mid, try and break mid down sooner. In this meta, I do like that quite a bit because there is too much wave clear, Mazel. So without Rift Heralds, it could be quite hard to break down these mid lane turrets when you have Viktor versus Corki every game.
Yeah, it definitely can be. So that's why I'm kind of keeping a side eye on Aki and where he's really heading towards with that. And right now, it is towards the Krugs, but towards the bot side of the map, more importantly.
Yeah, both junglers going to be around this side for now. You also see just a trade of pressure, right? For IG, they're consistently keeping up that pressure in mid. For OMG's bot lane now at this point, with level 6s coming out, I definitely think they have some kill pressure in terms of skirmishing, so their bot lane's going to be able to consistently push out the side of IG. And when we talked about IG kind of leaning into the later stages and how their team fight works out, I still feel like these early stages are completely fine for them, despite the fact that they are 2k gold down. OMG, though, starting to start off that snowball like we hit on. And heck, they have a 2k gold lead. They haven't even used their Rift Herald yet.
And that's absolutely, just, again, leaning back into that aspect of trying to get a snowball for this team, because that's what they rely on. Cold, making sure that's going to happen, but you get the counter engage from Lucas, and now it is turned around. Shun gets the kill. Aki overextends just a little bit, has to pop the ultimate. Makes it out alive, but barely.
Sadly, not enough burst to be able to find the successful skirmish. Cold, I love the amount of initiative coming out from the right. Flashes into the E, into the Magnet Storm. Looks like you're going to lock down the Viktor. Yuekai did flash away. And let's go. OMG, don't stop, Mazel.
They do not. And this is exactly what you want to see from Aki. You need to see from Aki. Is this non-stop pressure? Oh, no. neny realizes that somebody's there because the little baby Krug goes over the wall. But the tower is the objective here for OMG. They can get a little bit of plate for Shanji. Maybe some pressure on the neny.
Yeah, and they're going to be fine to just drop this one down right now. For neny, I was actually a little bit concerned right when Yuekai started channeling his TP towards mid. Of course, IG are doing that because they want to look for the cross map. Dragon is about to come up, so they want to start contending for that one. But I think you set up, yep, the dive.
They turned around on the dive. They didn't think they were going to go for it. Shanji gets taken down. neny! neny's going to take the 2v1! What?
neny comes out absolutely massive. Again, I thought IG were kind of throwing him under the bus the second Yuekai started channeling that TP. neny believing in himself. The amount of sustain coming out from the Q passive, from the ultimate damage as well. The W keeping him alive. And we're going to see here, Shanji not really having much mana left. Does have enough for the body pop. No other abilities able to come out. The W, the damage reduction, just doing so much stats of the Conquer as well. So getting some other healing going on other than what's built into his kit. And the man just pops off.
That's got to be one of the plays of the week right there. That's insanity. And it literally secures the top side for IG.
Yeah, IG, I mean, not even just the top side, right? Because top side is where they weren't dedicating resources. They were putting all of their resources into bot side. So they not only got those kills top, they also picked up a dragon at the same time, and they are still the team that completely controls vision on the bottom half of the map.
Yuekai taking some poke there. Aki is there. Respond just in case. Now we'll run into Shun. This is going to be a 1v1, but Aki decides immediately against that. There was some backup to be had for IG. Crown of the Shattered Queen completed for Yuekai.
And that's going to feel so nice when you're looking at OMG's comp, right? We've already hit on that OMG have completely indexed into burst when you are bringing out champions like the Talon and the Samira. So that 1.5 seconds of the reduced damage, I think is going to be doing a ton. IG now trying to collapse on Shanji. No flash.
It's not pull the trigger. Matter. He's being, he's buying his time. He's not popping the quickness overzealously. He's not overusing the grand entrance because he wants to make the moments memorable. Aki might need to get some kind of memory going for himself because it takes 90% of his health just in a quick trade with Yuekai.
Yeah, he's going to have to back off from that one. Looks like the next objective we're going to be looking towards is the second Rift Herald. For OMG, I still feel like you still favor them for Rift Herald just for the fact that you will be able to time those with the Corki packages, right? For IG, I wonder if they'll feel more confident to contend with the skirmish top side now that we do have some of these mythics coming out, right? About even across the board, 3 on the side of IG for now, 3 on the side of OMG, but that's only because Aki playing the Talon does go for the Ghost Blade first. So we might get a fight. I think it definitely still favors OMG at this time. Corki already picked up the package.
And I'm still kind of waiting on Xiaoyueji to really get something going for the Vayne, to get any gold his way, right? It's been very quiet on that front, and that's beautiful news for OMG.
Yeah, and OMG going to use the fact to just start off the Rift Herald like we talked about. IG conscious that they don't want to look for this fight. I assume if their bot lane's pushing mid, might just go back towards the bottom half of the map. Really what they should do. Again, OMG, very frightening at this point in time. Heck, they've even managed to keep up the 2K gold lead despite some of the shenanigans that happened, like the botch dive in topside.
Almost a scuffle there as Creme has the package available. Not yet. Realize it just yet. Going to the spot side. Claim that wave there as well as first power being played by Shanji.
And that one's just been sitting up there right for the taking for a little bit now, right? Now the question is, how does OMG use this pressure? Are they going to use Shanji to make the impact bot, continuously roam him down, stack numbers advantage in mid, which then opens up a window for Aki to support Creme and bot side? I feel like it's the best play. Shanji, of course, not really going to have any 1v1 pressure up top side to be able to threaten taking a tower. So we definitely want to see him roaming and enabling the rest of the map.
So I hear you with all that big brain analytical stuff there. It's all well and good. But all I got to ask you right now is we're past that 15-minute mark. Who won the first round of the tournament here? Johnny or Daniel? Or are they both Johnny?
I honestly think in this case they're both Johnny. But we're going to keep calling OMG Danielson, and we're going to say it was OMG. I do got to say, though, I'm very disappointed in myself that I haven't come with more Karate Kid references.
I know!
I did binge watch all the movies the other day. I also binge watched the whole series on Netflix. So I'm, coming in.
Honestly, I'm disappointed now. That you should not have told us that. You should have just left it at, I should have used more quotes, not the fact that you just watched the entire series.
It's how we prepare for our casts. You
watch Karate Kid.
Gotta spam some 1980s movies. Might get some action down though. Chaos Storm
almost
is available for the side of IG.
Yeah, that gravity field almost kicked off everything for IG. The Rift Herald utilized in the mid lane though. The tower takes a big chunk, but IG pushes the fight off of the tower and able to survive for a little bit longer. But OMG surrounding here the side of IG, and maybe they just go for the trigger pull here as neny takes a decent amount of health bar. Just have that little trade, the flash body slam into the cask, but it's a bit whiffed there. Now the re-engage comes through from Shun, but beautiful magnet storm on the back line from Cold, and he's making his name known. Aki is in and out, but neny gets out with just a smidgen of health. Shanji going forward. They cannot claim a single life, but it's on a knife set.
Man, that was so close. Really nice setup coming out from Cold, finding that angle. This is what we talked about. This is Cold's best champion. He put up so many great performances
on the backside.
last year, but IG still want to contest.
This is not the one they want to give up. The dragon already about 2,000 health. It's going to go down, but it's over to Aki, who gets the first dragon for OMG of the game. Now OMG, or IG, now OMG need to get away from this one potentially after stealing away that dragon. And they're a bit of a predicament here because they've gotten themselves caught between a rock and a hard place. They go for the re-engage though. Cold is just down. Now they're going for it with Abel, and the Inferno trigger is not enough. Xiaoyueji is still firing these silver bolts, and OMG back away.
Man, this was the perfect result for the team fight. Also, I was totally with you when you were in there. IG, OMG, IG, it was so back and forth. Both teams kind of testing the waters, slightly jumping in, kind of poking each other down. Looked like it was a 2 for 3 in the end, if I'm not mistaken. Might have even just been a 2 for 2. Really long extended skirmish again. Started off with OMG finding the initial win. They convert that into the dragon. IG trying to challenge with the fact that they do have TPs available. We kind of end up in the same place where OMG is still a team ahead in gold. 2 dragons over for the side of IG though, so potential win conditions still there, as we're going to go straight into the replay. I assume this is going to be the first engage coming out. Shanji looking for it. Yuekai able to get away with the flash show, and this is where Cold finds a massive Magnet Storm.
In the picture, we just got to kill. We'll go back to that, but yeah, we got to see that initial engage, re-engage, I guess, by Cold to just send IG scattering to the wind, it seems like. And then after that, we get the re-initiation of a 5-on-5.
Yeah, and there's already so many flashes and key ultimate spurns that you know that this wouldn't be an optimal 5v5 for either side. Yuekai trying to get in on the opposite side, but Shanji doing a great job of zoning him out. And looks like, once again, in the bottom left hand of our screen,
we've had 2 pictures. That's just the LPL at this point.
I was going to say, you know, when you have teams like IG and OMG coming down the ridge, this could be the kind of thing you get where it's like, okay, replay is going on, but we have a ton of other things still going on our screens. I believe it looks like IG potentially picked up a kill somewhere while we were
neny got a kill under tower in bot lane during that. I don't know. I think it was against Shanji, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe we'll get a replay of that. Maybe we won't. But now we are set up in front of the Baron pit. Xiaoyueji is trying to get this topside tower, but he's getting engaged on by Creme. Creme going for the 1v1. He can't get him. Get the condemn back into the tower, and Creme has to pull away.
Yeah, and nice for Xiaoyueji as well to back off, realizing, hey, that Immortal Shield Bow just popped for Creme. I'm not going to do the damage to this, so they'll turn on me and be able to win out in that 1v1. We are pivoting up towards topside control, like you have said. OMG coming back onto the map first are going to be able to clear up some of this vision from the side of IG. For IG, you're going to start transitioning neny down towards that bottom lane. He's going to have consistent side lane pressure up against either one of OMG soul laners. So for IG, you can kind of play out through that win condition, try and pull Shanji down, try and bait out some of these TPs. You'll always be able to rotate neny over first and look for these engages. The nice thing for them as well is the fact that you know OMG can do engage. They're the ones running the Samira, they're the ones running the Talon, so you still can play a bit more calm and collected.
Yeah, absolutely can. And I will say Shadow Flame has been picked up for Yuekai. So second item completion there, but a lot of damage to the front line that we talked about maybe being a little bit paper thin earlier in the draft. It's working out so far. Cold and Shanji are very strong as this front line. Fimblewinder, they're completed as well for Shanji, and they're going to need that, right? They need to have a front line to distract away from Creme, Aki, and Abe.
Yeah, I mean, and again, a lot of the reasons given were in context of Gragas. I think Rell, phenomenal frontliner, of course, this resistance.
Yeah,
Shun needing to flash Cold.
Crescent Guard was popped. Is it enough to get him out of there? They're full committing under the tower. They don't have the damage, and damage is being done back. That tower is helping out a bunch, but Yuekai's Chaos Storm is doing so much work. The laser beam, not enough this time around, but they do save Shun's life.
Overall, we're trading some flashes on each side. Creme having no flash. Actually, apparently doesn't matter. IG going to take this opportunity to look for a bit of a Baron bait coming out. We need to remember that both Shun and Yuekai just used their ultimates.
Oh no. The package was immediately used by Creme, but that was actually a really good play because now Shun is almost dead. One more rocket could do it. Shanji tries to go for it, can't get it. Now OMG start off the Baron.
And we have Baron play into Baron play. Pretty much being thrown to either side. He's going to need to recall. The other members of IG are here, though.
PP.
I think they potentially can poke them off of this. OMG not having a ton of consistent DPS at this point in time. And yep, neither team's going to bear it in the end. OMG should be able to get fast track on bot side, though, to be able to claim what looks like a mid tower and a dragon.
We'll start off with the tower, neny. Take a couple extra shots from the Baron there, as it does actually force a couple members from OMG to go back towards that side of the map.
Yeah, I think neny just cleared out a Warden in the Baron pit.
AoE.
So, yep, so for the side of OMG kind of having to cover up towards the top side, make sure that nothing does go down. Still can commit a few members to the dragon on the bottom half of the map, though. So OMG, ever since we found out what our soul would be in Mountain Soul, have picked up to dragon. So feeling pretty comfortable there. And heck, when we're talking about things like Gragas and Rell being able to be as strong of a front line as they can, this is going to be helping them out phenomenally.
It's terrifying.
I mean, remember for the side of IG, right? They have a front line, but their front line is just bruisers. It's Xin Zhao and Gwen, not really true tanks, both a bit more sustained tanks, I'm sorry. So OMG will have the ability there to contest.
It's those S's, man. Those S's always get you. But,
They do.
It really is. I think that, you know, that Mountain Soul, you give it to this OMG roster, like, it's so ridiculously hard to kill Aki, to kill Abel or Creme at that point, because they do resist a lot of that burst damage that you're looking to put down. So it's going to be relying on the sustained damage coming in the team fights. Xiaoyueji's positioning especially.
I mean, luckily for the side of IG, right, both Xiaoyueji and Yuekai do bring pretty consistent DPS. Like, sure, Viktor is all about burst, but I mean, the later the game gets, your E's on such a low cooldown, you're pretty much just spamming that ability in team fights. So I think for IG, they're pretty well set. We're back at the point where it's like, okay, for OMG, you're just playing as a 5-man core. You're going to look to rotate Shanji over whenever we can when he's forced to answer neny on the opposite side of the map. And for IG, they can just keep doing what they've done. neny pushes the bot side, rotate burst, trying to put down some damage on the mid lane turret with the range coming out from Viktor.
Trying to do so now. The tower is going to go down eventually. No. Shanji activates the go button here, but IG repel them off with a counter engage of their own, or at least a seemingly counter engage, and both teams left at a bit of standstill. A little bit of a Western show off here between the two in the mid lane.
I think ultimately it's fine. And Shun goes in.
He takes the engage, but Cold is on the back line. It is a very split fight right now as neny is taking on Aki, but it's already a 1-for-1 trade. Abel getting very low, but the Infernal Trigger is healing up plenty. Xiaoyueji is taking the kills, though, and this is huge for IG.
Yeah, like you said, that fight was split on so many fronts. I was keeping my eye on Aki, trying to get around, trying to find a flank angle. neny was zoning him off. Abel finds a way into the fight, but still, Xiaoyueji and Yuekai were untouched. They were able to kite out the fight, get out their DPS. And for IG, that's feeling pretty good. Sadly for IG, they aren't able to turn this into an objective.
They are not. And we'll get a replay of that chaotic fight, but it was so back for both teams wanting to get the engage and shouldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, Shun and Lucas going into Cold. Sadly not able to lock too many members down. Does split up IG a little bit. Lucas getting picked off to start fight. Cold also goes down. This is what we talked about. The Talon was zoned off the whole time. Abel trying to find a window to go in. Xiaoyueji having a really nice condemn there. And then Yuekai just putting out consistent damage the whole time. Sadly, you weren't able to get any massive AoE combo like we were talking about before. Cold locking numerous people down into Samira jumping in, into Creme just putting off this consistent damage. Yeah, the ebb and flow didn't happen, Mazel.
I will say, Xiaoyueji's positioning in that was stellar. As a very short-range ADC, trying to get the stacks for lethal tempo up in the middle of a very back-and-forth spread fight. That's the stuff you love to see. And yeah, Abel is looking for those wombo combos. You have to have the setup for the Samira. You have to have the distractions there. But Xiaoyueji is slowly but surely making a presence here as this Vayne in the game later on in the game, even though he was pretty much speechless in the first half of the game.
Yeah, I mean, we can even still see the remnants of that, right? The fact that Abel is up in CS. Hitting on some item breakpoints as well. Yuekai now finally picking up the Void Staff. Good purchase when you look at the items coming out from Shanji on the opposite side as well, with Cold having a lot of MR. So he's going to be dishing out a ton of damage now. Neny's been on a pretty strong point for a while. Did pick up some Grievous wounds with that Oblivion Orb, so hopefully things like his ultimate will be able to get on Abel and make sure he isn't able to sustain up in these team fights.
Package secured. Creme going out to the fight, ready to go with that big old package. We'll see if it's actually able to make the difference. The rapid fire cannon, also that completion for Creme. Aki on the side, on the flank here. 5-man strong, and for IG in the mid lane, though.
Yep, we see right now just posturing coming from both sides. Can Aki find the angle? We've set up. A lot of this is on Cold finding the massive Magnet Storm.
He's going in for the engage. Shun has popped the pressing guard at least. There's big engage from Cold, and there's the wombo combo you needed. Resets coming through, and Creme is popping rockets into the back of IG.
And for OMG, that was just beautiful. It was the exact combo we were talking about. Multi-man Magnet Storm, package layered across numerous members, able to jump in and just take over. Now for OMG, it's not only a team fight win, they're going straight into the Baron.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. They're all going to be covered in purple at this point. OMG, find the fight. And now it's IG's response to try to get the dragon.
Yeah, but Shanji and Creme aren't going to let that happen, my dude. Neny, you need to get out of there. Xiaoyueji is actually pretty close.
And he is pretty strong at this point, working on his third item as the Vayne, but the dragon getting ever so low. Creme trying to put in some poke here. The TP is now coming in from Yuekai. Dragon secured by IG. Now they need to get away, but Yuekai, with the speed, is going to overextend himself. The crown blocks a ton of damage, but it doesn't matter in the end. Creme takes the kill.
The angle could have been so good for Yuekai if other members were around. Sadly, didn't have his flash, didn't have his Chaos Storm available either, so not able to put out a large amount of that upfront damage you would like as that Viktor, especially with the fact that members like Creme were a bit chunked out, and maybe you could have tried to force something like a flash, but ultimately does go down. We're gonna see here how this starts off. Aki looks for the flank. They immediately go on to Shun, and I want to keep an eye on Cold here.
God.
Goes in 4 members right into the package. Abel jumping in as well, and everyone on the side of IG just burns down.
My goodness. And the fact that you had Aki in the end there come in with all the knives, right, and pull them through everybody, that's the combo you're looking for. That's literally the game-changing combo for OMG.
Yeah, I mean, for OMG now as well, you have the ability to play out through 2 lanes. Just keep Creme hovering around mid, because you can very easily rotate the bot with that package. Start having someone push in that bot lane turret, which looks like it will be Aki. Try and sync up with that next wave when it does hit the inner turret, and IG being a little bit bold.
I mean, the Shadow's Assault is back up for Aki, and that is a ton of damage already. And the fact that Creme is sitting here on 3.5 items, their poke game is ridiculous, but their follow-up damage in the fights is also pretty redundant.
Yeah, for OMG now, though, just starting 1 turret instead of having someone escorted mid-wave as well. Seems like they're afraid of a potential engage to come out from Lucas, where he's just able to get on multiple members and set up a 5v4. I like it, though, sending Aki now towards mid, able to jump over the frame with the E and threaten on multiple fronts. Pull IG apart and have as much pressure as you can. For IG, I feel like you just have to absorb, right?
It's 4,000 plus gold for the Baron power play. They are now just circling 10,000 gold in the lead. And we haven't even busted 20 kills yet.
The same as I've seen better. I've seen better Baron power plays.
I mean, this is the LPL. Come on, our standards are pretty high, I would say.
This is, what is this? Only 4,000 gold. But no, for OMG, you can see exactly what they're doing now as well. They take bot lane pressure. They start pivoting up towards the top half of the map, send their core down towards mid, allowing Aki to free hit on the top side. I'm a bit surprised that OMG also feel comfortable keeping Shanji alone.
They're just slowly bleeding out their base here. Creme is going to have insane damage numbers at this point because his poke is just non-relenting.
Yeah, I mean, for IG, this is where the philosophy typically comes in of accepting losses on certain sides, saying, hey, maybe we can't contend here, like let's let the Gragas push bot, and trying to all in mid with numbers of damage. For IG, they need to give up something and fight OMG when they are spread apart, trying to, pull you apart.
Yep. And They lose 2 inhib towers. No inhib to go down just yet. IG can rest well for a little bit longer, at least another day here. They make it out of their base, but nope. I spoke too soon. neny overextends. They all waited in that bottom side. 5-man strong claims neny's life.
See, Mazel, what the situation is right now, it's like OMG have IG pinned. Like they have both of their wrists held. IG can't throw any punches. This is where IG gets to throw the head. No, it's where IG throws the headbutt. You're like, okay, they have some people on the right, they have some people on the left. There's no one down in the middle, or there's not enough in the middle, so bam, straight to the headbutt. We're gonna see here.
So this is the headbutt.
No. This is not the headbutt. This is OMG just. I don't even want to talk. They're punching IG in the throat or something. IG had to look for the headbutt. I don't know why we just see neny overextend. It happened. OMG found another pick off. 11K gold advantage for the side of OMG.
Yeah, it just like getting caught in the, oh, I finally can get a little bit of farm. Oh, but they were all waiting for me in my blue side jungle. But we have 35 seconds just about for the next dragon. It is soul point or for OMG, but it's soul for IG here if they can claim it. And just denying OMG any more of this stacking of dragons is a crucial point for IG.
Yeah, for IG, they're going to find a way to bait out that magnet storm, or again just utilize the fact that they have flashes up quite well, right? Both Xiaoyueji having a stash, Yuekai being able to burn the flash. If they are able to get out of that magnet storm, I honestly think they can contend to take a fight. Gold difference might make it to OMG favor. You know, items, stats, math, and it looks like IG are afraid of the math. They're just going to back off.
Oh my god.
I mean, we look at items, right? Four item Corki. Whew.
Yeah, you don't really
Actually,
deal with
5
that.
item Corki if you count
That
boots.
also might be my new favorite phrase. Yeah, they're just afraid of the math. Like I think
dude, the math.
You sold
the
me.
math is
Math
the
is
math
scary.
is strong.
Math is
Like
scary.
when you get to the 10K gold lead. Again, compositionally, I feel like game becomes a lot less important. It becomes about execution or mistakes because it's just math diff right now.
Yeah,
There's
it
nothing
absolutely-
you can do to beat stat checkers.
About 10 seconds for the next Baron as well. And OMG look like they want to force a fight around it and force IG out of their base. Would be a very tough predicament for IG to deal with, but they might just be forced to.
Oh, they are. It's a lose-lose, right? You either give up Baron or you go contest Baron, hope for the best. If you just get Baron,
They don't even get
OMG's
there.
comp
It's
can
already
easily close out. Nope.
Not even going to make it there in time, and now they get engaged on Cold, looking for the beautiful Magnet Storm, but doesn't find the angle just yet. The IG scatter, there goes Cold, the cask in, as well as Aki on the side. They haven't found a kill just yet. Cold is the one that dies first, actually. Now Creme has joined the fight, though, and this is the man you got to watch for. Aki distracting on the back line. Shun goes down. It's a trade back so far, but the Infernal Trigger is popping off now for Abel. The damage dealers are still alive, and IG is forced back into their cave.
I mean, ultimately, this doesn't change the state of the game. The fact that IG were still able to find 2 kills is good for them. We'll see if they're able to survive this onslaught from Corki, from the Baron minions coming up. It's just going to be straight up 3v3. You do have the wave clear still alive for the side of IG with Viktor.
Dude, 4th item complete for Yuekai.
Oh,
He's just
never
dead.
mind.
He didn't even get a chance to use the brand new Zanyas he just had. And Abel is popping off. Abel using the Infernal Trigger beautifully and ending the hopes and dreams of IG in game number 1. OMG take it smashingly.
OMG showing up. We were talking about the fact that Creme is a reliable carry for this squad. Hitting on Abel being someone who's shown he has the ability to step up in certain games and also be a threat that you need to worry about as well. And then just seeing the coordination come together in the mid to late game where we did finally see them finding those massive AoE wombo combos, able to just completely shut down IG. It was beautiful to see. IG in the first 15 minutes was doing pretty solidly. They were contending. We saw a lot of cross mapping coming out as well for them to realize like, hey, this is a Corki package timer, or they were on top side first, they have vision down. So I feel like we saw some decent things from both sides, but for OMG, man, it is just so fun to watch their explosive play style.
It really is, and you could see a little bit of the look on the faces of the IG players, right? That was definitely a disheartening one to lose. It's so back and forth. You feel like you have good advantage. You're actually taking a lot of the engages there before they started losing by 10,000 gold. and they just never got back a hold of it. You still had the strength of the Vayne, the Viktor, that just never really was able to be pulled off. The short range of the Vayne, never able to get into range to really do any damage. When you had Abel capitalizing on Cold's beautiful engages every single time, and you have so much to watch out for, so much to be distracted by, that somebody's going to kill you eventually to the side of OMG.
Yeah, there's just a lot you have to worry about on the side of IG. If IG didn't start to, fall so far behind once some of those exchanges came out in mid-game, it's really just the one, honestly. That one beautiful engage came out from OMG really felt like it turned the game into their favor. If IG could have kept scaling up, letting this Viktor get some items, maybe it could have been fine. Again, we've talked about Corki warps the game, and even then, you're just going to consistently be getting bombarded by missiles. But Creme showing up. Last year, one of our biggest question marks for Creme was, what are you going to do once we get out of meta with AP Assassins? We saw teams ban them out before. That is consistently how you would beat OMG in 2021 and in playoffs. Just send like 3 bans at Creme. They won't have a carry. We see now in 2022, Creme can play anything. He's stepped up, and he is just performing on the Corkis, on the Victors.
Yeah, it's on the other side, right? I think we have our clear winner of our first round of the karate tournament we have going here. But on the other side, Yuekai definitely feeling some bumps and bruises after that one. Maybe looking to sweep the leg in game 2.
Yeah, and I mean, just sad for him, right? We saw in their first series, he liked these more proactive champions like the LeBlanc and the Vex. Those both got taken away this game, and he did have to play something a bit more laid back, a bit more passive. And for the side of IG, I mean, heck, even though they had that pick right, they were trying to put the pressure on early, and we saw Shun trying to find these early invades, especially around bot side. But talking about those invades, OMG were even smart to punish them, right? I think OMG definitely came into this match as a supposed favorite from what we hit on earlier about them keeping their roster together. But as we saw, I do expect this to be a very close series.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just one or two little things going differently, right? And that's where I want to obviously talk about game 2 coming up here in just a little bit. But it's going to be so interesting. Draft number 2. What picks do we see banned away this time around in the first phase, and all of that leading into the potential last breath for IG in this best of 3 series. We'll have to see what that answer is, though, as we do take a look.